Something like that. Big erections.
You should really give us a step count before each race. You know how many steps you've done that day, vertical steps
No,
or
no,
normal
no,
steps.
no doubt the guys I work with will be messaging into the live feed, slagging me off here about this, but sitting on my ass most of the time, there's no doubt they'll be saying.
Remember,
Oh,
shout outs
nice.
on YouTube and Facebook Live for anybody who wants a shout out. Get on there, get the comments going.
So I think that the last thing I seen was 525 signed up for tonight.
Yep,
That's savage.
massive numbers again.
558 just now.
Goodness, that's incredible. That's some achievement, guys, from the people in the background that have set this up. And I remember being around in some of the early meets when it was it was like getting one of Willy Wonka's golden tickets. If Ross's invite come in and you accepted it, you had a chance.
I remember that too. It was you're only limited to 100 riders, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Back in the
and it
day.
was all verbally counted down and timed, and it was taken on integrity that the people would not cheat and go before their go time. Like there's not many ways of let's say altering performance on Zwift, but some guys would have taken it to the upper level by going in the wrong group.
It
That
was a
wouldn't
lot
happen
of
these
fun
days,
though,
Tommy,
to
would
be
it?
fair. Those are the days.
Right, I have 30 seconds to go. I'm off
Okay,
here.
we're gonna
I'll probably
flick
be
over to
keeping
Ross
flat for a
now.
bit.
Ross on a bike.
Best of luck, Ross.
You're meant to say Rossage on a bike.
Ross, it's any sausage rolls this morning, Ross, before you start killing yourself.
No, I'll be trying to lose a bit of weight.
Oh dear.
You don't want to do that, then you'd be upgraded to bees.
That doesn't bother me. 10 seconds.
Now I've heard of sandbagging, but eating your way into sandbagging, come on.
It's been working for Ross so far.
C's are off.
And again,
Doing
as we
that
know
on
in
more
Zwift,
the line, they're out.
this is
What
the
per kilo?
hardest bit of the day is actually getting off the blocks. This is the bit that impacts on the rest of your race. If you don't set yourself up properly for this part, you know it can take a while to recover from it, and your heart rate doesn't come down, and your body is flowing with that lovely lactic acid.
It is honestly one of the worst parts of the race. So, like, you're blowing your socks off. Just try to stay with the group and hoping that you don't get dropped in the first couple of minutes.
In fairness, this is what really suits the people that have come from a cross background.
Yeah, cross
Because
start.
it is just the same as cyclocross, really.
Yeah.
It's max out of the blocks, and then you gradually come back from anaerobic till VO2 till threshold, and then it eventually comes down to a little bit of zone 3 if you're lucky.
Mark, why are you not racing then?
Why am I what?
Why are you not racing if it's good for people who like cross?
I have to do the stream, Fiona.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. All right, okay.
Have to keep the fans happy.
The start tonight hasn't been as frantic. The guys are controlling themselves.
Perhaps actually, probably the latter groups are better because they don't want to just kick 10 bells out of each other all the time. It's not a peeing contest where sometimes the is it's just how long can you prolong the misery for someone.
Right, so handicaps. We have 4 minutes between D and C. Further 3 to the Bs, and there's only 1 minute between A's and B's tonight. So, do we reckon the A's are going to catch everyone?
There's a good chance if this is the thing probably the A's haven't got right is that they haven't actually figured out that if they rode at probably 4.5 watts a kilo as a big group, where any of you that have ridden in any of the group rides, you see everybody talking about let's blob up. And as a blob, the group moves faster, it keeps momentum. On this fast course, you know, that's the main thing, is just keeping that speed up and the momentum. Where once it's lined out, you're not moving just as fast.
Yeah.
Like the sections where it'll line out, I'm not sure if we're on to one yet, but in Ross's group there, you'll see once they hit, there's a roundabout coming up pretty soon.
That's the wee drag.
Yeah. That's the drag in through the town. Again, this is another part here of the course that can split it up where it will line out a little bit. But again, at the start, when everybody's that little bit fresher, are you using the featherweight already, Ross?
What are you ready, Am?
It didn't even go up past 1%. There's the bees. The bees are out of the pen. We'll give Ross a wee breather there. Follow some bee riders here.
He's trying hard to keep up with June McMinn, I see, who's like pushing out over 4 watts per kg there. So Ross is doing his best to hang on to her wheel.
I'm twice her bloody weight.
That's no excuse. You'll be grand. You're using a featherweight.
Again, that's the art of the game, is deciding on what power up you're going to use and when, because at times you will get a rubbish power up, like a featherweight is no use to you really on a flat course. It does nothing for you. You may as well dump it where you're looking something a little bit different. The arrow and the draft make some difference when you're struggling that little bit to close a gap. It's massive.
This B group is huge.
Who sees a name coming up there called Sandbagger Forever in the C category? I'm laughing at that name. That's brilliant. Who are you?
Fantastic.
Tommy wants your name.
Totally. Is this the A's going now?
The A's of about 20 seconds. I'm on the B group here. We'll stick with the B's because I'm sure the A's will not be long coming through if they've only got a minute handicap.
The
A's are on their way. I'm watching Mr. Glenn Kinning, one of the guys that have been spying on Zwift Power. Zwift Power is one of the greatest utensils available out there to stalk people and to see how they're going and where they're racing and what training they're doing. It's even better than Strava because it gives you power numbers.
Yeah.
So Glenn, I have to say, in fairness to Glenn has been one of the guys that I've seen that has really improved on Zwift over this last while. You know, between learning how the maps work and just his level of fitness. Glenn was always a strong guy, so it's great to see Glenn coming through and making the most of it, and looks like he's enjoying riding his bike again.
Yep, getting back into some training. I know he's listening. He's been trying to FaceTime and all there, so I know he's listening. He'll be,
I'll give him a live ride on here.
He'll be happy to get the mention.
Well, there he's sitting at 350 watts, 156 heart rate, 4.8 watts a kilo they're going at. Yes, they're not hanging around.
So I'm just
Tommy Sandbagger is Jerry Havern. That says it all. In the bloody sea race.
Oh dear.
I see on the front, Havern, you get a boot in the backside.
It's a family show, Ross. I'm just on this Swift GPS. Tommy, have you ever heard of Swift GPS?
No.
I had emailed Swift about streaming, looking some sort of tools to make it easy to follow, and they told me about Swift GPS. But I have it on now. Followed a few riders in each category, but it's literally showing me nothing. That's maybe one to research a bit more.
Yes, well, the old fan view seems to work okay. I'm now watching Sam Coleman here from Orchard.
We'll flick back over to Ross.
Going well.
So I'm going to fan back and find some A riders here. Any shout-outs coming in? Anybody? Found any?
Let me jump over to the stream and see, do we have anything so far? Lone Ranger just saying well done to the TUZ team. Lone Ranger, I don't know who you are. But thank you very much for the shout-out.
I have a shout-out to the Sea Rider. Sea Rider's at the front to slow down.
Okay, Sea Riders, if you can hear us, Ross really needs you to slow down just for a couple of minutes so you can catch us front back. We'd appreciate it. We don't want them to drop too soon.
Right, I'm going to try and find an A rider.
It's quite demoralising. You see somebody beside you with under 14 in their name.
We actually have a lot of new people that I haven't seen. So there's James Curry, a local Banbridge man. He's hiding in the bunch in the air. So I don't know if James has ridden any of these before. So again, there's another guy that's there. Johnny McRoberts, another Banbridge man. Who else do you see? Where are the A's? Kevin Lynch, again, I think I've heard you mention Kevin quite a few times. Kevin has been really consistent over Swift. He has took to it very well. Like myself, he was probably one of those guys that thought 2 years ago, Swift, what a waste of time. I'd rather be out in the fresh air. But with the predicament we all found ourselves in, it's really resurrected quite a few guys. They've dusted off their bikes and got some ropey trainers out of the attic, and they're having a blast on Swift.
I think everybody was like that, though.
It is definitely a great training tool anyway. I think it definitely has its benefit there.
Yeah, like I was out on the tarmac this morning, and if you're doing anything sort of interval-wise, you've always a wee chance to freewheel or, the likes of that there. And Swift, there's no hope of doing that. You just have to keep pedaling, no stopping, especially if you're doing a ride that you've designed yourself and the trainer's holding you at the watts. Even if you slow down to 50 RPM, you're still doing the same amount of watts. It has to be good.
Look, technology has made it so much more interactive, user-friendly, and again, all you have to do is look at the numbers that have come on to Swift. Like 50,000 the other week. The numbers are just ramping up and up and up. I see the A's are catching a group of...
We're following A's now.
And Mark, who are we following in particular?
We're following Darnell Moore.
Mark's favourite. Go on, Mark. What's Darnell up to?
I don't know. I haven't been speaking to him this week.
What do we have for dinner?
His name just happened to pop up in the fan view.
Yeah, right. Okay, come on. This is no coincidence.
Right, there's Richard Barry.
You never asked me them questions.
Yeah. I'm looking at Connor Sprice here. So he's another guy that's been... Actually, when I was doing a little bit of Swift racing, Connor and I would have had a few battles along the way. He was always there around me and me around him. But he, again, another guy that's stuck at it and appears to be enjoying it. Looking at the A's, they're just going through that roundabout section, which can be tricky. And for once, they appear to be in as big a bunch as I've seen them where they are grouped up. So, they're certainly moving on. They're doing 54k an hour, so they're not hanging around.
Yeah, we'll just give Kevin Lynch a wee follow here. I'm surprised he's not trying to ride off the front.
That's the only frustrating thing around Zwift is like 54k an hour. I would just love to be able to do that all the time in real IRL in real life. And the issue is you get used to doing 2.5 hours on Zwift and you can do 80 kilometers.
Yeah,
I know your average speed never seems the same after it, does it?
Yeah.
I have a shout out here from Kieran Crawford. It's not really a shout out, it's a question. It says, these races are mostly flat every week. Will there be a week on a hilly course for the crack?
No, Ross is a big man.
Next week's a hilly-ish one, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the last round's really hilly.
It's about is it 3k long? Something along those lines?
Ross can't talk at the moment, so let's not ask too many questions.
In fairness, there are very few flat races on Zwift. The London one is about your only one. The Watopia flat isn't overly flat. Lots of the new maps are like anywhere where there's cobbles, there's gravel, there's switchbacks. It is actually horrible. And the biggest feature of the Zwift racing is if you're at the back of a group going over the top of a hill, you're stuck. Because if the group at the front has any momentum at all, it just strings out and you're just chasing all the time. And that's where you always got to be careful of. So there's no flat races.
Sam Coleman has pulled out. My screen froze. Good night.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
These things happen.
No podium today.
If he wants to drive the banger, he's more welcome to jump on my bike.
Ross's Wi-Fi will definitely go then as well. He has far too much on it at the moment.
I can feel it going tonight.
I see the A's have caught a few B riders here already.
Yeah, they're going through them quite quickly here.
Yeah.
It is still you're just about to catch all the bees.
All the bees, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, they're just coming up on them now. again, in Zwifting, this is a precarious moment. If you are an A and you're caught going through some of the groups, if you're not quick enough, you'll get sticky watts where someone going slower than you, that you come up behind. You need to make sure that you're pushing some extra wattage to get by them, otherwise you get stuck behind them. It's a real pain in the ass. So that'll be the challenge tonight. You'll see some guys getting caught out. You can see how the A's have strung out there, just because they're going through groups, and that's why they're just getting caught on sticky watts. What do you see when they catch the C's? It'll be mayhem.
And as you can tell, this is why we brought Tommy in, because me and Mark talk pure waffle.
Tommy knows what he's talking
Tommy
about.
actually knows what he's talking about. So we're getting some valuable feedback tonight for everybody racing this time.
Oh, it's when you're caught with your trousers down, you learn.
I try not to do that on camera, Tommy.
Yeah. Oh, but it is. Some of those shorter loop races, like the volcano circuit, the flat volcano circuit. It's absolute mayhem for that. If you've done a race around that, I'm not sure if we have or not, but when you catch the groups there, because you are catching such a variety of people, it is mayhem. The groups, you just get caught all the time. So you just watch in the next few moments, if and when we get up to the C's, what sort of mayhem. You can see on the map that the A's have split. So there is a bit of a split there where some have got caught out, like I have said they would.
Just following Glenn now. Comfortable.
Few sandbaggers in the sea here. Boys, you shouldn't be here. Road B last week, now they're back in sea. What's that all about?
Well, were they on your naughty list?
I think a couple of them were.
Just, we've got a good one here from Jeremy Martin. Who needs a Champions League on a Wednesday night when we have this?
Well, to be fair, I think watching anything is better than watching football. So, that's not hard to beat.
The TUZ is better than the Champions League. You heard it here.
Unfortunately, there are many of my friends out there are not Liverpool fans, unlike me. And this is definitely refreshing watching this. From watching Tour de France winners to they wouldn't win the Anaclone Grand Prix is my only phrase I could use. It's shocking. But this is way more entertaining.
Ross, I have another one for you here from Jim Adams. Was Ross not meant to wear one of them jerseys that's on the wall behind him?
Ross, stop texting, okay? Now's not the time.
Are you asking somebody to bring out another fan?
I just called a few boys out in the group here.
He's saying bring some snacks to the garage, please.
Right, we'll go back to Ross. A wee bit of screen time for you. Figure out what's happening with these A riders. They're just cruising. Anything you want to say?
Well, Paul MacArthur, I want to give him a shout out because he's up in the front group as well, and Paul is always putting in good work there. So good to see that he is riding up front with the guys. And also a big shout out to Glenn, because I just think he's been going so well these days. So I think that deserves to be recognised.
How well are the C's organised there at the minute, Ross? Does it feel like they're organised? This is coming up to that little hill section again, isn't it?
It's just it's a very high pace. Like, I'm struggling, I'm not lying to you, I am struggling here tonight, just to stay in this front group. I'm looking forward to every sort of wee downgrade to ease off the power a bit. I'm using every bloody power up I've got at the minute too.
That is the challenge, isn't it? There's limited, if any, place to recover on these flatter routes. It's constant power on all the time.
It doesn't help there's a few guys in this group that shouldn't be there. They're averaging close to 4 watts per kilo.
Yes, that is one of the unfortunate things that they haven't been able to do. That you don't have the ability, like a fly swatter, that you can swat some flies, because they change the outcome of the race. They're dragging it on that little bit. It happens in all the categories. Where you have someone there that's on a speed sensor trainer in the A event, and they're just knocking out 6 watts a kilo, and they're freewheeling. So it makes a mess of the race at times.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to get some time gaps up here from Swift Power. It seems to be refreshing not too bad here tonight. So we're looking at 4 minutes from the A's to the front of the race. And the leader is, I'm not even saying his name because he's a sandbagger. Marty Lynch, Ban Wheelers, is the current leader in the D group.
Marty's
not the sandbagger. I'm not mentioning the sandbagger's name.
Sorry, Marty,
Call
didn't
them
mean to
out.
blame you.
All right, it's
Call
George
them out.
George Glendenning, C rider in the
Ah,
D's.
George,
Dear,
I
dear,
knew you were in the wrong category earlier. What are you doing?
dear, dear. So yeah, we're looking at 4 minutes roughly. So they've made up 4 minutes on their handicap to the front.
Now, I think one thing we've got to consider as well for some of the people that we may call out as sandbaggers, there probably are some characters out there that have dropped a little bit of fitness, and it's they're looking to still engage in the game, and possibly this is something that Zwift could improve. That they maybe need to have sort of A plus, B plus. They need a middle ground in some of the categories, like 3 to 3.5 and 3.5 to 4, because
That would be nice.
there's a massive difference when someone has 1 watt a kilo extra than you. It's just colossal.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to find Paul MacArthur there. There he's there. Couldn't get him. Glenn O'Brien, mountain biker.
Glenn, another guy, he was there early doors when mountain bikes weren't available. A man that has still embraced the love of Zwift and still out there doing his mad rubber man impressions around trees and on his downhill mountain bike. But Glenn he's been fabulous in these. He's been loving it when it was the original thing, wasn't it, Ross?
Yeah, well, keen every week.
These mountain bikers are very impressive. I ended up bringing my mountain bike for a walk down the single tracks on the weekend. I was terrified. I'll stick to the road.
I seen a G McKee there. Has to be Gareth as well. Another good mountain biker.
That's sure. Just come across myself. I was thinking, God, the Banbridge boys after 6 weeks have finally realised that the Zwift League the TUZ League is on after me giving them many prompts that this was great fun.
Yeah.
And instead of doing that, the biggest race in the country.
Yeah.
Oh!
The problem is you said that it was great fun. Nobody is buying that about any type of a Zwift race.
In fairness, it has changed dramatically from the early days of the 100 invites. It was civilized for the first 4 or 5 minutes, but once it went viral and open to everybody, it just ramped up 10-15% in terms of the effort you needed to put out to get in there.
So this is the A riders coming up on the mixture of B's blue. Yeah.
There's D's all over the road.
Yeah.
We've got some already as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, you can see they're getting strung out and getting split, and it's through that roundabout section.
Yeah.
That roundabout section honestly is challenging. So watch. Well, if we stay on them and you watch when we go up to the U-turn here, the U-turn always kicks lumps out of it as well.
I'm just trying to not lose any A riders here, which I have done.
I'm concerned for Lindsay Watson. I haven't heard from him tonight.
I was actually trying to find friend of the show, Lindsay, as well. Zoe Lindsay has lost connection. She is also out. Unlucky.
That's such a shame. Zoe,
yeah, unlucky.
You've been going so well, and based on your results today, I wouldn't worry about it. You've got a great lead over the C category as well, so you know what? These things happen. You're doing well. I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, you can drop a round or two, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there we're just going around this U-bend here in the A's, and you can see that they're in amongst C's, B's. There's yellow and black mixed around Z, Peugeot everywhere. So this is definitely bits of chaos going on. There's a few guys caught out at the back. Gareth seems to be caught at the back here. That's Gareth McKee.
We're just following James Curry here. He seems to be going quite well. He doesn't do a big pile of Swifting, does he? Tommy?
He's been on it recently there. He's got used to it.
He's having a wee go here.
Mark, if you're looking for Lindsay, he's in the front A split apparently. He's just giving us a comment to let us know where he is. We knew that you were in the front. We were just more wondering why you were so quiet, Lindsay. So that was all. We were checking in to see how you were.
We'll have a few B's hanging on. I just seen R. Young there. He was the winner last week, so he's hanging on here. And with the A's. There's Paul MacArthur for you, Fiona. North Down.
Well done, Paul.
I'm actually watching one of the ladies here. Is it Claire Richardson?
Yeah. Claire's one of the
wife
ladies.
Wife of the maddest cyclist in Northern Ireland who should certainly challenge for any distance or timed efforts. Chris, if I'm correct, Chris has been known to do 400 kilometres in winter just for fun.
Wow.
It looks like they're a match made in heaven, because I have seen Claire on some of the 100-mile group rides smashing away and enjoying herself. But again, another strong rider. I'm just watching her. They're just off the back of the ES at the minute.
Yeah, Claire is incredibly strong, and she has a really, really good sprint in her as well. So if she's near the group, near the end, you always know that she's going to put in a good sprint there as well.
Yeah, just trying to get some time gaps, but unfortunately don't have any.
We're still saying 4:06 there, but
Yeah.
it maybe hasn't updated.
Hasn't refreshed.
So it's probably around 2.5 to 3 minutes, I would imagine, based on some of these other gaps here.
Here's the C's getting caught now.
And we have Dougie Lenny racing in the C category tonight, and he said to give a shout out to the TUZ Sunday after party meetup. So they're headed to London this Sunday. So if anybody wants an invite, follow Dougie on Zwift Companion, and he will pop you across an invite there as well. So it's a nice little meetup to do. They have it varied at different watts per kg, and it increases throughout the ride. And then there's a little race at the end as well. So if the weather is bad, or if you're trying to just keep up your indoor training, that's a good one to join in.
Okay, C group, just about to catch a big group of D's here.
I'm now sitting watching Lindsay. Lindsay looks to be going strong. He's sitting mid-pack in the A's. There's still probably, oh God, it's a big group. It's a big group because there's lots of B's and C's in amongst them here. Must be 70 in that group.
71.
There you go. Good guess. And it's all strung out. And what distance are we on? 17.3. We must have another 2 laps or so to do. Lindsay's having a little go off the front here. He's getting some YouTube time. Robin Wilson from Ards there closed him down. His Tron bikes, the wheels are almost on fire. They're glowing that hot.
Yeah, and Alan Patterson from the B is hanging in there well with the A's. Alan's a really strong cyclist from Ards, so I think this happened last week as well, where the A's had caught them and he managed to hang on the back with them and stay with them for the rest of the lap as well. So Alan's a good rider.
There's still lots of good guys in around. I see Richard Barry still there, Seth Dunwoody, Ryan. Is that Ryan Bankhead or Richard Bankhead? I seen Ryan last night. I had done a little group ride. Was it last night or maybe Monday night? He was on the same course that finished up that Libby's Hill. So he was doing a course recce, which is it's always good to do, to know where you're going to be racing and what's ahead of you.
By the looks of things, Ross, your group's getting caught now by the A's, a few B's.
Great crack.
Jump on, Ross.
They're going to come through you. Make sure you get a wheel. Go for Glens.
Just get ready for the toilet. They're going to come through you like a dose of Epsom salt.
Oh my God, lovely.
Here we go.
Fair, shout out to Ross though, because Ross was the first person who told me about the sticky draft as well. So going back to the early days when we were doing the meetups, Ross would yell at everyone in the B group to speed up before the A's caught us, and he saved me from getting dropped many a time.
Yeah, so there Lindsay has...
He wasn't messing.
Smart route. He went smart route, went straight to the front, because that's, again, here we're coming up to this U-turn where it'll string out, and this is where the elastic will snap.
We've just gone through the sprint banner, so haven't caught us yet.
Oh, there must be a couple of groups on the road then.
Yeah, in the front of the C group.
He must have split. It's actually surprising to see all the variation of bikes. Like, I have reached level 50 in a year and have all the bikes. And to be honest, even watching the guy, the Zwift Insider and all his information, the Tron still seems to be the most favourable bike. All the other bikes I just struggle with. But the Tron, it's just a bloody effort to get it. Like, you can just sit and ride up and down Alpe d'Huez all day to get it.
Just do
you're you're looking for the national lottery to win the lightweight wheels as well. It spins the wheel at the very top, and the number of times that it got lovely mitts was horrific.
Oh my god, I never knew that.
Yes, so you can set your feature for your challenge, which is the Everest challenge, or you can complete other different maps and it'll unlock different things. So the Everest and challenge, you have to go way beyond Everest. So
Yeah, that was really
maybe
upsetting.
2 or 3 months to get the Tron back, but again, it was a mission to get that. Or that's probably one of the things people should do, is make sure that they have their settings set on the challenge that they want to achieve. The Tron bike, it is definitely one of the faster ones, and you gotta say it looks cool with those wheels are just blowing up.
Lindsay Watson says easiest way to get the Tron bike. Lindsay, I've been told it's set your workouts that you're doing during the week that you're riding up TUZ, and that's the best way to get it. I mean, that's what worked for me, and I don't think I put very much time into riding on Zwift. Tommy, I heard you just say you're level 50. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Level 50.
Yeah.
Do you ever
I only achieved it last week.
I'm only level 40. I don't want to see you're younger than you.
Oh my god.
But maybe you didn't do 20,000 kilometers last year on Zwift.
No.
Flip me.
Tommy, do you not like the outdoors?
Funny enough, I actually do. But when, like probably a few other people out there, I'm at home teaching my kids.
Oh.
You know, my wife has her own business, so she has to work. I have my own work that I can do from home. But in terms of that, I have to be here and be teacher, daddy, cook, cleaner, and Zwifter. So Zwift has saved my sanity.
Well, what about coffee rides on a Saturday? That's the best thing about going out for cake.
Yes, but that would be on a Sunday. Again, my wife works on a Saturday, so I'm limited there. When you have an 8-year-old, I don't think I can leave him in the house on his own just yet.
He'd be grand.
He'd be grand, yes, of course he would. Of course, everybody misses coffee rides. Well, he has been on Zwift. Now, I wouldn't encourage him to race just yet. As we know, the challenges of Zwift are that you don't need to stay upright. You know, that is one of the disadvantages of the real world. So you can produce quite an effort that can be detrimental to your health at times.
Like I'm doing at the moment.
You seem to be okay there,
Your heart rate has come down, Ross. Since you've been talking to us, your heart rate has come down 5 beats.
Well, give you some screen time, Ross. There you go.
The key is, why don't you do a little exercise of really relaxing your breathing and controlling your breathing, and see how low you can get your heart rate just by just controlling what you're doing there and not even thinking of anything else.
That or just grab an inhaler.
Or the track pump. You could pump extra oxygen in with a track pump.
Not heard that technique before, Tommy.
Bit of Joe Blow.
To be fair, Ross, you do look very relaxed.
I have recovered a little bit.
I mean, I feel like you should probably do some more work.
But that's what I said at the beginning. That's what it said. You know, the hardest thing here is that, like, if you look at the average watts per kilo you average here, if you go off in some other group ride or even on a time trial and aim to hold that average, it'll no way feel as hard. It's just that initial first 3 to 4 minutes where it's brutal. Like it's just so demanding that it does put you in the red for a long period of time. Like,
no time gaps. Still saying 4:06 for me.
It must be a lot closer when we were able to see them.
It has to be.
We should be able to see them once they pass.
I'm sort of roughly counting maybe about 20 seconds, 15-20 seconds between the A's and that group of Rosses. We'll flick back over to the A's.
Screen, it looks like there's not that much between them.
I would still like to know if any of the D riders are still at the head of the race.
We shall never figure these things out.
Nope.
There's a wee group ahead still.
Not until we actually have proper live feed from Swift Power. It's still
We're
saying
approaching
Marty Lynch is in the lead too.
we're approaching the U-turn towards the sprint, and there's a group of Ds just ahead of us.
Yeah. If my thing is correct, let us see 24, Richard Archer. Let's see where Richard is.
While you're looking at that, we have a couple of shout outs going on here. So shout out to Gary and Josh McClone from Phil, who's watching the race while doing his FTP builder plan. That sounds grim. Shout out to Val Goff, who's doing amazing. Keep going. Somebody wants to know, is Oliver Harkin racing? No, I think Oliver is off tonight, but we do think that Oliver and Joanne Murphy should start joining this one as well. So this is definitely where the fun's at on the TUZ League. So we'll have to get them on board.
We roughly have about 15 seconds. It flicked up on the screen there between this group and Ross's.
And the A's.
Ross's, I think. We're about to approaching the wee group of C's now, but I don't think it's your group yet, Ross.
The A's are about 10 seconds back on us.
Yeah.
Ready for lift off.
Are you getting ready, Ross?
I'm waiting for the best power up. Ah! Didn't give me anything!
Nope.
Nothing worse than firing blanks, isn't it?
Raging.
Ah! Hope to get one more of that, get a power up.
Properly raging there.
Shouldn't have used your featherweight now, should you?
Make no difference in my weight.
Tommy, what are we looking at for this final hill? What sort of length and effort are we talking?
Well, it's approximately 1 minute effort, and looking at the power there, the guy based on the form guide is Richard Barry has one of the highest sort of 1 minute powers. Well, and Stephen Hanna, I'm not sure where Stevie is in the group at the minute, and then that other young guy that I mentioned earlier on. God, where is he?
Sam, was it?
Yes,
He's out.
He's out.
Is he out?
He's out.
Orchard guy, so he's out.
Yeah, he had a drop. Screen froze, he said.
Yeah, so Richard Barry, in terms of form guide, has the best 1 minute power. As I say, it's a steep hill, so it is. He'll go from the bottom. Probably that's where he went when he was sprinting with Mateo. Okay. So it's whether someone can go. There is a little bit of a rise prior to the steep bit. Whether someone will throw caution to the wind, or perhaps that's where someone like Lindsay may have to try and break the ice and see what happens, and see can you draw Richard out, because Richard doesn't appear to have done much around the front today. He's a clever enough rider.
Yeah, there's a little King of the Mountain segment before the final hill, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you kind of have a little bit of a downhill around the corner and then up on that leg snapper, which at the start seems really, really doable. You get halfway up the hill and you're like, oh god, my legs are on fire. So it's not too long though. I think you can hold out for it.
That is the horrible thing on Zwift. There is lots of bits that really suit those powerful riders. There's some guy, he's in a horror show, he's on a time trial bike. He is
A group just caught us. A group has caught Steve.
Yep.
Here we go, there's a nail bomb going off.
Come on, Ross.
Yeah. So Glenn's up to the front of the group, so he's not getting caught out. Richard Barry's up around the front. Lindsay saying, "Hi Ross, I can see him on the stream here." Just as he passes you.
Screw you, Watson.
I don't see him sitting up and waving. You have the ability to do that in your companion app. You can sit up and wave.
I did not know that. Tommy, Richard Barry's saying stop giving away his tactics. Lindsay's watching to our stream, so sorry, Richard. He'll know what you're doing now.
Yeah. No, they've went through them quite quickly there. There's still a good few of them together. There's still some B's.
Okay, we're off the circuit, heading for the hill. We're heading for the hill, 6k to go. Okay,
now the fun begins. So let's just see, can I find Richard here?
I'm trying to find Richard myself here. I just can't see the name yet.
I see him up the front.
Stalk him.
Maybe stalk Lindsay. He's been up there every week, like.
Yes, well, Lindsay has been consistent.
The stats could be wrong.
Let's see where young Seth is, the league leader. He's in the back of the group here, safe enough, working his way through. So he looks comfortable enough. 175 heart rate. He's not maxed out just yet.
175 heart rate. I'd be gasping.
Yeah.
But don't forget, some of these younger athletes, they can probably, the old school rule was 220 less your age, so lots of them can hit max above 200.
Yeah.
Tommy, you calling me old?
No, I'm only relating to myself, Fiona.
Good. Still hanging on to my 20s. Thank you.
Good stuff. Like there, we can see here there's people. You can look on the actual Swift Power. You can see all of the information. There's someone here sitting at 199. So let's see who's winning the heart rate game while we make our way up to the finish.
Yeah, we're on 28.9. Okay.
I'm in the second group of the road.
Total distance 33, so we haven't got long to go.
The A group's about 8 seconds in front of me. Too quick, can't hold them.
And that's probably, there's a little downhill section through there.
Yeah.
So again, once that gap opens up, yes, they're
on the downhill now.
The Super Tuck 65 km, we're like a -5 degrees. So again, you need to be careful in these sections here. As soon as it flattens out, and if you don't put the power on again, you'll get caught out and a gap will open.
Lindsay was taking advantage of the Super Tuck there. The watts had dipped down. Look at how much the heart rate dropped. Straight to 150.
And so is Ross. Ross isn't pedaling anymore either.
I might realize my heart rate's not going down, but
Ross is pushing on there. 175. He's not sandbagging, I'm afraid.
Get ready, Ross.
There's Lindsay in the tuck. Lindsay in the tuck again. What's the heart rate drop?
Other little giveaways here when you see people is when you see red numbers, so their avatar gets out of their saddle. So there's two cases of that. They're going double that they have their FTP set at, or their cadence is under 65 revs. So when you see constant red numbers, it can be a little sign that someone's up to something.
Right.
If it's constantly on and off.
Sprint coasting.
Possibly sprint coasting, yes. That's where you can see that in if you look at the right hand side of the list of riders, you just look for people that are constantly going glowing red. Red and off.
The A's have got a small group here. Straight through.
So who's to the front?
Yeah, he should be front of the race.
There's a wee small group in front of them.
I have 2.8 Ks to go.
Keep her going, Ross.
Now we see how we set up here. So the league leader is still in mid-pack here. They're just about to catch this next group in front of them. So they're just about to go through. I think there's about 3 or 4 people in front of them. So it's who's got the biggest kahunas for this climb and is willing to commit to 1 minute of all out. And if you vomit at the top, you can win.
Glenn, if you're listening, full gas. Don't hold back.
He's working.
Yeah.
I think he is giving it full gas.
Just not
I'll
yet.
give you that, Glenn.
I'm looking to see if I can find Richard Barry here.
And Stuart Miller from Ards is up the front there as well with the guys.
We're not far
away. Actually, the guy that has the highest wattage, Stevie Hanna, is still in this group. So Stevie could be a surprise package.
No pressure, Stevie.
No pressure, yes. Now, he's at a disadvantage at the minute because he's sitting at the back of this group, where really, if you start accelerating through, the aero advantage is no use. You end up with sticky watts going through people that are coming back with. So he's sitting in 19th in this group, but he could definitely be an interesting one. We'll give him a ride on there to push him on.
And there's a really nice shout out from Sam Coleman. Obviously, he had his technical issues, but he's saying, go on, Seth, as well. So always really nice to see competitors rooting for each other there as well.
So this climb, Tommy, starts when we see cobbles?
Well, there's a little red light at the bottom, which is your KOM banner. That's probably the start of it. That's what you're looking for.
Okay.
It's
On the
on
right hand side of the road.
Yeah, so we're not far from it now.
I'm at the U-turn before it.
Yeah, this it looks like we're fairly close to it now.
Yeah, I just seen Richard Barry's name popping up there, so he's around the front.
So do you think anybody is going to make... Oh, there's Lindsay
KOM
going
started.
into red numbers as well.
A few reds here already.
Tommy, is your prediction going to be right here that people are going to be riding off the front on this one?
Well, that's the potential.
Lindsay's
That's what you gotta
going.
do.
Lindsay's going
Go
here.
on, Lindsay.
You know, Lindsay would probably have a stronger 2 to 3 minute effort than these guys, so he's
Yeah.
looking to stretch it out that way. But there you can see Stevie Hanna he's not far behind him.
Yeah, there's quite a few sticking with them.
Yeah, and Kevin Lynch is there as well.
Yeah.
Now it starts to rise
Seth
up.
and
So
Woody
this
as well.
Yeah,
It's all red.
there's
Oh, God.
Richard Barry to the front.
Who have we got on the front? I'm actually afraid to click. Seth Dunwoody on the front at the minute.
Seth and Woody being chased down by Richard Barry there as well.
Yeah,
We'll go
I'm on
Seth.
the hill.
and there's
I
James
think Richard
Curry.
Barry's taking off here. It's going to be Richard.
He's changed his tactics
Yep.
after Tommy.
Richard got
Yeah.
it.
And
Not sure
that's
who was
Cordova.
second. I don't think it was anyone from the Ulster League.
I think it was the Spanish guy, was it?
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a downhill now, isn't there, before
We'll flick back
Oh,
over to Ross
somebody
here.
has stopped on screen.
That's it. Finished at the top. Here we go. Come on, Ross. Now.
Come on, Ross.
Up to you.
That's
Bring it
it.
home for the commentating team.
Well, we can hear Ross anyway, and I'm not
Definitely
going to mute him
working.
this time because it's better in this way. Go
Well,
on,
at least he's still breathing anyway.
We
Go on,
should
Ross.
ask him a really technical question right now. Ross, how are you feeling? Give us your live opinion here. I think he gave it everything.
Yeah.
Or he's still going. I don't know.
Come on, Ross.
He could be crying now. Who knows?
No, this part of the climb is horrible. It really is.
Go on,
Ah,
Ross,
it's
keep
over.
it up.
That's you.
Ah,
Nearly there. Come on, 100
it's
meters.
done.
Good
Perfect.
stuff.
Ah,
Right, let's keep refreshing these results on Swift Power just to see.
ah.
That's an amazing skill, Ross. Bang on 3 watts a kilo. Impressive.